Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and on today's episode we will be breaking down the difference between investing into Emaar Oasis direct with the developer or investing into a secondary off-plan option of the Emaar Oasis community. As an agent in Dubai, this is often a question I get asked a lot. What is the main difference? So if you're searching for this video, I'm guessing you're looking to invest in the Emaar Oasis community, and therefore in this video we will be breaking down the difference in the payment plan terms, what is different about the down payment, the difference in the clusters, and why Emaar Oasis has been such a spoken about community here in Dubai. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment. If we do miss anything, let us know. If you're brand new here, I will have a little touch base on what Emaar Oasis is and why it is such a sought after off-plan community which people are excited about. The reason Emaar Oasis has been spoken about so much is the only master community made up of villas and mansions. Emaar Oasis is being developed by Emaar, who is the largest master developer here in Dubai. They're the developers behind the Burj Khalifa, Emirates Hills, Dubai Hills, Marina, Downtown, and many more communities. The reason Emaar is now the most trusted developer, especially in today's market, is because they're government backed. People know what they're getting, they know the standard of finish, and they know they have completed time and time again, even after the 2008 financial crash, the Arab Spring, and COVID. And each time, they've came out stronger. This is why now more than ever, people are researching these government-backed developers to ensure their investment is safe through these uncertain times. And I'm guessing that's why you are looking at Emaar Oasis as your next villa investment. The main question, what is the difference? So far in the Emaar Oasis community, there has already been 10 launches. However, we still do have a few more launches where you are able to invest direct from the developer. The main difference of when you're buying from the developer, Emaar, or when you're buying secondary is the process to doing so. Let me walk you through it step by step. When you purchase from the developer, you will sit with myself or another agent in the developer's office. We will show you around the master community and we'll find out the type of villa you are looking to invest in. These vary from 4, 5 and 6 bed villas. The newer 4 beds all have basements, whereas your earlier 4 beds did not. So that is something to keep in mind. Now the key difference is your initial down payment of what you pay when you're investing direct from the developer. Once we've gone through the full process, finding the unit that fits your criteria, it then comes down to booking your unit. The Emaar payment plan is super easy. You're only required to pay 10% every 6 months over the 4-year construction phase. That means on booking your property, we would put 10% down towards your villa and then a 4% towards the DLD, which is the equivalent of stamp duty if you're there in the UK. When we're looking to purchase from the developer, there are sometimes exceptional circumstances where we can take you to a show villa in Emaar Oasis, which has been recently completed, which is a great way to see and the finishing materials and the overall spec and look of these villas. However, unlike when you buy the secondary off-plan, you will have to wait the full 4 years for completion. Now there is pros and cons to this. The pros, you're leveraging off your own payment plan, which is 10% every 6 months. You're going to be handing over in a community that has time phases handed beforehand. And why that is important is although you are paying the higher price point of your villa, you will be moving into a more developed community with less construction. And that's really where people start to see the premium as the vibe of the community is formed. You will also be able to review the full master community and possibly even have options within whichever community you're looking at. Currently, we have options in Palmyra Collective, which are 4 beds at 8,000 square foot, very similar sizes to the Palmyra 5 beds in Palmyra 1, or we have options in Mave 2. That means you've got options of every single size. Process, super simple. When it comes to the secondary acquisition, the process is a little bit different. We source options depending on your requirements. This can be from the Chamfered, Classic, and Contemporary. Now, Before we even get to that stage, I would have a consultation with yourself, understanding your budget and your reasoning for purchase. This will allow me to guide you to find out where and what cluster is best for your needs. And why I say that with emphasis is because the earlier phases were launched at a cheaper price per square foot. As an investor, this is a key thing that you have to understand, as this is where you'll be buying in equity with your investment from the construction phase to the handover phase. With the current market conditions, we're actually seeing some great opportunities as an investor to be able to buy in on the price per square foot where we know it's going to grow in equity. However, the main difference is, unlike buying direct from the developer where you only have to pay your 14% down as your initial payment, the secondary market, the percentages vary from a minimum of 40% plus transfer fees, which equates to 47%, up to 82% of the total value of your property. The next question may be, why the variance? The variance is because in Palmyra 1, which was the cheapest price per square foot, the original owners have already paid 75% towards their property. Therefore, for you to come in and purchase that property from that original buyer, you have to facilitate what they've already paid to transfer the property. The 7% transfer fees break down as your 4% DLD, your 2% agency, and around 1% as total transfer fees, including your legal, trustee, NOC, conveyancing. I'm just doing 1% to make it a much easier number to think of in your head. Now, it goes down to 47 from 82 because the minimum amount to transfer a property in Emaar is a 40%. So even if you were to resell, let's say maybe a Mave 1 who haven't yet reached that 40%, to obtain the NOC, you would have to pay a minimum of 40% to do the transfer of the property. So if you are ever looking on the portals or speaking to an agent, always keep in mind that an additional 7% of the total value of the property will be needed to transfer. Now, on the likes of your 47%, your minimum entry point, you would then be taking over a payment plan. The standard payment plan for Emaar is an 80-20 payment plan. That means the original 40% you would pay on transfer, your 7% transfer fees, and then you would go back into your 10% every 6 months, depending on the payment plan, until handover, which would then be the 20%. I know the question you're going to ask, can you mortgage? The answer is yes. You are able now to apply for a mortgage on properties which have hit the 50% construction phase. That means on properties such as Palmyra 1, Palmyra 2, Palmyra 3, Mirage, these are now all mortgageable and you can put offers in on a mortgage buyer. But to note, cash buyers, especially in this market for quicker transfers, are more preferred. And it really comes down to whether you're an investor or an end user on the capabilities you're able to leverage. What I mean by that is if you're an investor, we want to get you the best price. Therefore, I would always say pay with cash, then change to a mortgage after you've transferred. Just a little bit of a moving boats around to do it, but you often get the better price point. Obviously, with the current events, we have seen movements in prices. And the reason I'm breaking this down in simple terms is because often, and I'm sure a question you've asked yourself is, what is better to buy? Off-plan, secondary, or off-plan direct from the developer? And it really comes down to what price you're buying the property at. How I speak to my investors, and if we were to meet face-to-face, what I would say to you is, what price are we buying the price per square foot at on your property? That acquisition cost is really going to differentiate if we're going to make it an investment or it's an end-use property. The reason being is we'd be looking at the investment as buying in equity. And let me break this down for you. We buying a property, let's say, distressed in inverted commas, because obviously Emaar controls the market, the full community is not distressed, and there's only individual owners themselves who have over leveraged. Now, the reason I say Emaar in inverted commas control the market is because they are the only master developer of this community. They control the price point of each cluster. Now, Palmyra 1 was launched back in 2023 at 1,600 a square foot. The most recent launch is Mave 2, which has been launched at around 2,100 to 2,200 a square foot. That means we have a potential of a 500 to 600 dirham margin on a, let's say, 6,000 square foot property. You times those together and you're going to be getting 3.6 million dirhams, which equates to nearly $1 million in potential equity. Now, if you're an end user, yes, it's good to have an investment for the long term. However, it's not imperative. I would rather get you the best property, which maybe is the right direction, has the right airflow, has the right vastu requirements, than get you the best price. Because let's be serious, with any property, whether you buy it at 2,200 a square foot or you buy it at 1,600 a square foot, in the long term, you're still buying this full community, well below ready communities currently in Dubai, even in this market. So if you look at your requirement at a 5 to 10 year hold, you will make money. It's patience. I know we've often got caught up in Dubai, you can do quick flips. Let's move away from that and look at it into the future. You'll always make money. The last question I'm going to break down is, why do the clusters vary so much in prices? Now, as I said, the price per square foot is obviously varied depending on the cluster, but also the size of the property. In Palmyra 1, Palmyra 2 and Palmyra 3, the property sizes started at 5,600 to the largest one at 7,200. However, in the most recent launches, your 4 beds are coming in at upwards of 7,500 a square foot to 8,500 a square foot. Therefore, although the prices have varied now from 8 million to 14 million direct from the developer, you're also getting a near 2,000 to 3,000 difference in the size of your property. That is why, although sometimes we always look at the big figure, it's always good to consult with your agent and ask these questions. Why are the prices so different in the variations? And usually it's just because they have a basement or they don't have a basement. The later clusters, so your Palmyra, your Palace, your Address, your Mave 1 and Mave 2, they all have 4, 5 and 6 beds within your clusters. However, your earlier phases, Palmyra 1, 2, 3, are all 4 beds and a few 5 beds. Mirage and Levita are only mansions. Right now in the Oasis, just close to 2,000 units launched, and we are expecting around 3,000 units altogether. Emaar have come out recently and said there's no longer going to be 3,500 units, however, just below 3,000. Let's see if that still is going to take place. If you do have any further questions or you want to know more about the differences of the units, or you are looking to either buy a secondary or a unit direct from the developer and you're wanting more questions, like, subscribe, drop me a comment, and I'll be happy to assist. Thank you very much for watching, and if you do have any further questions, I have a PDF that I'll be happy to send you.